This time I'd like to call the regular meeting of September the 22nd to order. I ask all who have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off cell phones and other electronic devices. Please conduct any private conversations in the hallway or outside. This meeting room is equipped with the inductive loop hearing assistance system. You'll be able to hear conversations through the microphones on hearing aids with the T-switch. Emergency exits may be found to your right and to your left. This meeting is also live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available. So at this time, if you please join the town board in a salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll turn it over to our town clerk for a roll call.
Jack Marin.
Here.
Dave Condon.
Here.
Mike Guinan. Drew Cusimano.
Here.
Alexis Ogra.
Here.
Thank you, Karen. Next, for the board's consideration, are meeting minutes from a couple of town board meetings, starting with the September 8th town board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And minutes from the September 16th special meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I believe.
One abstention. Yes, sir. Thank you. I also want to identify that we have 4 employees celebrating birthdays of the month of October, starting with Adam Blanc on the 2nd of October, Tina Kolachik on the 10th, Councilwoman Alexis Ogra on the 21st, and Town Justice Bill Coker on the 24th. In addition, the first meeting in October will be on a Tuesday, the 14th. All town operations are closed on Monday, the 13th. Town Hall will once again be in an early voting location starting on Saturday, October 25th through Sunday, November the 2nd. And the first resolution under the Planning and Building Department regarding the conservation swap for 1480 Strong Road has been pulled for your consideration this evening. This time, we'll ask the town clerk to introduce manifest number 18.
Manifest number 18 for 2025 in the amount of $561,678.03 has been reviewed by the Victortown Board with the following accounts charged: General Townwide, General Outside Village, Highway Townwide, the 2022 Pump Station Improvements, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you, Karen. Start with up on the big screen, you will see first payment is to Barclay Damon. There are chargebacks associated with this invoice. Next is payment to Bluestone Creek Development, October rent for the Parks and Rec. Payment to Shalafo Law for assessment reviews. Payment to CP Ward, Pump Stations 5 and 11. This is payment number 7. Payment to Five Star Bank, August Visa charges. Heidelberg Industries, Town Road Materials, Integrated Systems, IT support and software renewals. Mirabito Energy, diesel fuel purchases. New York State Comptrollers for the August court fees. Suitcoat, Highway Road Projects. Victor Central School, Lehigh Crossing School Tax. Victor Central Schools for the recreation program rents during the course of the summer. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $508,215.50. Total town expenditures minus the previously mentioned expenditures equals $53,462.53. Town board members, any questions on this evening's Manifest 18? Hearing none, would consider a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is privilege of the floor, and we have with us Norbert Victor's here, my understanding, okay, regarding the decommissioning plan. And Wes, you have a microphone nearby you, so I'm looking, certainly I think, certainly the board members in their packet, you have a letter from Joe Logan, chairman of the town planning board, We have 2 members of this town board who were instrumental in the task force for the zoning regulations, zoning code change here in the town, so certainly to those 2 members and other town board members, feel free to ask the applicant any questions. So, Victor, I really, my thoughts were, I don't know what you had rehearsed, but maybe going through the letter itself from Joe Logan, or unless you had something else, but I'll leave it up to you.
So Victor was unable to make it tonight.
Oh,
name
my
is
bad. Okay.
Paul Congdon with Norbert Solar Farms. I'm the in-house engineer. I prepared the decommissioning plan and have been involved with the development of the site plans as well. So I am here to answer any questions that you have. I'm not aware of the letter, but if you have any general questions related to the solar field, I can answer those as well.
Well, the letter itself wasn't that significant of a letter. I mean, it was just basically laid out the recommendation of the planning board, and the recommendation was that the plan appeared to be in compliance with the requirements of the town's new zoning code. It did not express any concerns about the plan. I don't know how much time the board members have had to look over the plan. Maybe 1 or 2 of you have. Wes, I don't know if it's proper for you to maybe give a summary of what the plan entails. There's also a proposed surety amount that's reflected in the agreement. So I don't know if you just want to give them a
Sure. Is this on?
quick summary of what it is.
You guys can hear me through the
Yeah.
microphone? Okay. So I won't focus too much on the narrative of the decommissioning plan. Sometimes decommissioning plans can be much bigger than what you have seen on this particular project in terms of volume, just narrative, explaining how the project would be decommissioned. I think they've attempted to do that with their decommissioning plan. Labella, we did provide a letter on September 19th, this past week, about the decommissioning cost estimate, however, and I would like to focus on that a little bit. Labella Associates has designed solar projects in other communities, and as part of that, our engineers use a spreadsheet, a copy of which is kind of included with an attachment to the letter from September 19th, which attempts to compare the decommissioning cost estimate that the applicant provided with the fees or the amounts that we use that Labella uses in our decommissioning plans for other projects. It's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison. However, there are some discrepancies or differences in the proposed costs, and I'd like to touch base on a couple of those with you. And for example, the reason why, if we open up the decommissioning cost estimate from the applicant, do you all have a copy of that in front of you? If we look at the
We do.
first page?
Yep.
Right, so the first item that they have is titled permitting and inspection, right? And they've got a quantity of 1, they've got a cost of $9,500. So just as an example, this is not, our cost that we have for permitting inspection on our sheet, instead of $9,500, it's $4,700, $4,720. So the difference, one of the differences there, our estimate is maybe a little bit less than half of what they've proposed, but that's because, for example, the SWIP, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, we have that accounted for in item number 2 of their cost estimate. So that's why it's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison. But there are a few categories where we feel the decommissioning cost estimate is falling short in the Norbit project. So for example, in site preparation, the applicant has about $4,080. We'll just round it to $4,080 for site prep. So Labella's estimate for that would be $15,000 and $15,042. So if you go to Labella's estimate, you would see, for example, let's see, where's the site prep here? Or the erosion and setup and control. It's on page 4 of Labella's cost estimate. number 17. We've got 15,042 as compared to their 4,079. So that includes installation and removal of silt fence, right? So for decommissioning, they're not only going to install silt fence, they're also going to be removing the silt fence at the end. Also, any wetland or perimeter fencing, orange construction fencing, any of the mechanical equipment and labor rates that go along with installation of that fencing. So that's just one example of maybe a bit of a discrepancy between costs. Now, the number 3, removal of electrical cable, they've got $8,600. Labella is about $8,100, right? So that's pretty close, we're feeling. A couple of the other discrepancies are number 5, or line item 5 in the Norbit proposal, which is identified as $4,313. We put a lump sum for each utility pole removal at, I can't remember what it is here. Lump sum for each pole. Power pole removal cost, $2,335 per pole, and there are 6 poles, so that would be $14,000 for removal of those utility poles. So as you can see with Labella's kind of comparison, this rough comparison cost estimate, some of the figures are quite different. And on the first page of our estimate, you'll see the quantities that we generally replicate from the Norbit project. You'll also see the labor and equipment costs. And then on each subsequent page, you'll see how our figures are calculated. Some of them are sizable differences, and then some of them, our cost estimate is lower than what they're proposing. So removal of the PV modules, the photovoltaic modules themselves, they've got 16,700, and we've got about 21,000. The dismantle and removal of racks, they've got 10,200, we've got 21,000. And it's also a little bit difficult for Labella to be able to precisely identify what these costs are going to be, because we didn't design the project and we don't know exactly how the removal and the dismantling and removal of racks is going to happen, if that's the same as what Labella's designs are. So it's kind of rough to hold them right to Labella's standard, but we do have an order of magnitude understanding of where they're at. The road number, if we look at line item number 11, road reclamation, they've got just under $8,000 for cost, 30 cubic yards of removal per hour for operator with excavator and a second operator with a front end loader. So we're quite a bit higher in our cost. Instead of 8,000, we're at 47,676. So that includes, where are we here? Road number 10. Yeah, gravel road reclamation. So that includes the cost of a rough grader, a fine grader per day, roadway material volume, the volume of material that's going to be removed, but also it includes the import of fill material, soils that would replace the stone road. So, and I don't think that their cost, their number 11 line item, it doesn't seem to include soil restoration, importing soil, and that might be on line item 12, right? So, for example, they have $11,000 worth of site soil restoration. I think maybe a big chunk of that might be for the road reclamation. It's hard to tell.
So Wes, I didn't get a copy of your Labella's breakdown.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
What's the total with a 15% contingency that you guys
So
determined?
the total,
729,000?
nah, it's very hard to have this be a precise cost, but the rounded total is $365,000 as compared to, I think theirs is,
Was that provided to the applicant as well?
I don't think the town has provided
You
this to
guys
the
have not
applicant.
seen
yet.
We have not seen that yet.
Yeah, so this we just provided to the town on Friday.
So, just for the sake of time, I mean, to go over the process, this board will only review and approve the decommissioning plan, and the surety amount, and the form of the surety that they would post to secure the surety amount. The site plan, the special use permit, that resides with the planning board. So the only role the town board has is reviewing and approving or disapproving the decommissioning plan and the surety.
So can I ask, so our question is, if we think that the applicant is light, then we think, I mean, that's the biggest concern the board has, right, is being on the hook 30 years from
Yeah,
now.
I mean, there are other elements of the plan. I mean, there are basically 5 elements that the plan must meet. And I believe the planning board has already determined that those elements have been met by the plan. Physical removal of equipment, disposal of soil and hazardous waste, restoration of ground service, stabilization of the site. I think the planning board, correct me if I'm wrong, Wes, has determined that the plan meets those requirements.
Yes, in general, yep.
So you're right, that it's really, for this board's perspective, making sure that the amount that is being set aside for decommissioning is the amount that you're satisfied with. And also with Wes and my input, the form of the surety that's provided is legitimate and meets the requirements. So I would suggest, again, for the sake of time, and I'm sure town board members have not had an opportunity to really review this in great detail, I would suggest that Wes share his number, the Labella's breakdown of the numbers and what they believe supports the 364,000 to you guys. You can assess it and then maybe come back to this board at a future meeting to respond, or respond ahead of that meeting. And then ultimately, this board will decide, you know, how they want to proceed in terms of the amount, the decommissioning plan, and whether they want to approve or disapprove. Does that make sense to everybody?
It does, but I want to provide an opportunity for the members of this board, if they have any questions, you know, certainly
Correct.
comments that Wes has made and yourself, so feel free to fire away if anyone has any questions.
I guess my biggest question, honestly, is not for you, sir, but it's for, I guess, really Stephen West and Supervisor Marin, because we have from Labella, and it's very much in all caps, you know, and in red, bold print, for rough comparison purposes only, not a detailed estimate. Can we get a detailed estimate? Can we have Labella do one?
Well, it would be very difficult for us to do because we didn't design the project, so we don't know some of the particulars.
Would
And
you be
really,
able to share those with our
well,
engineer?
I think the best course of action is for the applicant to provide that, as we do with other projects in the town that require a letter of credit. Often the engineers provide an estimate, and the town engineer reviews it to assure whether there would be adequate funds, and we suggest modifications. So this is very much following that same process, right? I think we're a little far apart right now in terms of total cost, but I think that's something that I would still, feel like the applicant ought to be providing, and, maybe a modified engineer's estimate for us to review again, and
And you guys are willing to share that with Labella?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's something we want to make sure there's enough funds in there, but we want it to be balanced and fair. So I think there's going to be some detailed back and forth between us and Wes, and I think we
I
can
think
come
that
to
makes sense to have them provide
understanding.
that detail to Labella, so that you guys can review the actual details.
yeah.
The other question I have, and again, it's not in the process, it's not in the project, it's in the 2.5% inflation over 30 years. I mean, a dozer's gonna cost us $150 an hour now. I don't know what it's gonna cost a board 30 years from now in the decommissioning, and I know it's hard to estimate that, right?
Yeah.
So when we're doing our 30-year lookout and evaluation, do you ever, and I guess this is a legal question as well as Labella, you ever do a readjustment on that? I mean, obviously, you're locking into something to say, we want to make sure we got these funds, but when I look at that, and I see 2.5%
Yeah.
over the course of 30 years, I'm thinking, we run into a crisis situation again, where we get into double-digit inflation, that 2.5% is going to get chewed up pretty quickly, you know, in a year, in a couple of years. You know, so I just think that, that's just a question from a layperson asking that. 30 years from now, what is, when that's decommissioned and it's no longer of use and they're putting it back to where it has to be, is there enough money there?
So the agreement does have, after every 1-year period,
It's
a
readjusted.
relook at it.
Okay.
And a determination whether the amount of the surety needs to be increased.
Okay.
And there is a reference to, together with an additional 2% annual escalation amount.
Okay.
Now, that is in their proposed agreement. It's not something our law does not specify what that escalator would be, right, Wes?
Correct. No, I
So,
don't
I mean,
believe it
that's
does.
something that can be revisited and looked at after they have a chance to look at the details. But the agreement that they've put on the table does propose, after each year, a relook at the surety amount to ensure that it's
Sure.
enough.
Sure.
That's by our town law.
Yep.
Correct, yeah.
I don't know if it was every year.
Yes. Yeah, it
Yes,
was
every
every
year?
year.
Okay.
Every year.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly wasn't 2%.
Yeah.
No, we didn't put an amount because we wanted to be able to
Yeah.
go back and look and see. But you put in there a 2% for the
Yeah.
escalation. Why did you not do the 2.5 that NYSERDA recommends?
I guess I don't have the information to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
he's-
familiar with, well, you
Yes,
wrote
I'm,
it.
I am familiar with.
Oh, you did
NYSERDA.
write the plan?
Yeah, he's the engineer.
Yes, I wrote the
stamped it.
plan. I did not do the bonding side of things and the escalation. That was more on our financial side of things.
So I guess if you could speak to your financial side.
Yeah, so that's,
And
Yeah.
have that question answered, why you guys didn't use the 2.5% NYSERDA,
sure.
because that would be good.
Does that annual review consider other factors such as changes to environmental requirements that would inflate that cost more? Or are we locking ourselves into that minus set variables such as inflation?
It does make a reference to that, but I was gonna ask Frank if this is part of the annual, where it says, this plan may be subject to revision based on new standards and emergent best management practices at the time of decommissioning, so is that something that would be annual, or is that something that can come in at any time?
Well, I think that the law set up for it to be an annual renewal,
Okay.
but it doesn't limit it to just whether inflation justifies an increase. If in fact there are other requirements
This would be.
that place more costs on the decommissioning,
Up to the microphone,
that would
Sullivan.
that would be taken into consideration as well.
And this would be environmental too, stuff that
Correct.
comes in that's not intact now, but might be at some point in time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, disposal costs alone, right? Just for that, as far as disposal costs.
It's not intended to be just about inflation.
Yeah.
It's about revisiting the total decommissioning costs and factors that might drive it to have to be increased.
This is the second proposed decommissioning that you've proposed, correct?
That is correct.
What's the main difference between this one and the previous one?
So the main difference on this one is providing a more detailed breakdown as to the equipment and labor usage. And also, we incorporated a couple of items that were recommended by your town engineer,
Okay.
Labella.
And obviously, you said you haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but their total before the 30-year bonded value at the 2.5% was at $365,000, and yours was at, I believe, 169, somewhere in that range.
That is,
Do you have any ideas as to what the discrepancy might be between you as an engineer and maybe Wes, and how we got to these different numbers?
honestly, without seeing the numbers, I don't want to take a stab at it.
Okay.
And our numbers are based off of historical records, but again, this is looking 30 years in the future, and we haven't decommissioned anything yet. So it's an estimate. So it's using our labor costs for install, comparing to the effort that we would think would be necessary to decommission it.
Okay. And then, Norbert, obviously you guys have been in business, it seems like, for a while. What other towns maybe have you done these projects in?
So we've done them all over the state. We have Aurelius is one of our more recent ones out near
Aurelius?
Auburn.
In Cayuga County?
Yes.
Okay.
We also have some on the west side of the city out in Parma. And then we have a few more downstate, near Binghamton area, some way up north, almost to Canada border. They're pretty much all over the state.
And is it often that your decommissioning amount varies vastly from like a town engineer's?
This is the first time we've come across this. I mean, it's typically we've been consistent with the NYSERDA approximation for the decommissioning, so
But you
usually as long
weren't
as
with
we're-
the 2% versus the 2.5?
Not with the escalation, but the overall percentage per megawatt. And this
Okay.
is a smaller site in general, so the decommissioning costs are less than we've seen elsewhere, but
So your other projects, are you using like an Article 10 because they're over the megawatts required to go through a town?
so the sites themselves
Yep.
are under the megawatts, so
Okay.
they're broken up into individual sites on a single property typically.
So to get around an Article 10, you're going with smaller sites?
It's just how we develop the sites.
Okay.
We find that the community scale development with the 5 megawatts or less tend to be the most beneficial for
Okay.
the areas that we supply them in.
Do you use union labor for installation and decommissioning?
We do for installation, and our decommissioning costs are based on prevailing wage.
Okay, is it union labor though, for decommissioning?
I would say yes. I mean, it's based on the rates, but at the time we were to decommission, prevailing rate and union labor, I don't believe is required.
No, I know it's not required, but I was wondering if you do use, you said union labor for installation?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then, but for decommissioning and deconstruction, you don't use union labor?
Like I said, we've never decommissioned anything,
Do
so
you
I
plan
can't.
on using union labor?
We are basing our costs on union labor, but
Okay.
I
Can we
can't
get
say
that
one
in
way or
some sort
another.
of confirmation, because it's not here? It's just has an hourly rate?
I guess if it's a requirement, we will put it in there. But otherwise, we will reference the prevailing wage
So you're
Which is-
saying you're going to use union labor,
for install.
but you're just saying that, you're saying you won't put it in writing unless we make you put it in writing, meaning that you know, there's a possibility you won't use union labor.
There's a possibility. I mean, I'm not aware of any requirements.
No, there's
Where-
not a requirement,
Right.
but I'm just interested to know, would you be using union labor? But if you're gonna tell me you're going to use it, but you're not willing to put it in writing, that makes me concerned that you're saying you're going to do it, but then you actually won't. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and I am not really seeing the relevance. I mean, I understand from
I
a
would
cost
just say,
perspective.
I obviously, yes, I understand a cost perspective, union labor is cheaper. But, you know, from a personal perspective, you know, maybe some people would support union labor,
Sure.
or it's been well enough, proven to be maybe more accurate on certain things. So that would be, you know, something we'd want to, at least I would like to know.
If it's a requirement by the town, then we can put that in writing, but
So
at this
then-
point, I am not able to commit one way or another.
Okay. Would you be able to get us an answer for that?
If it's a requirement of the town.
So it's not a requirement of the town, so you're saying it sounds like you probably won't be using union labor, because you just told me that the financial people are the ones who told you to use 2% instead of 2.5 that NYSERDA recommends, even though you said you're using the NYSERDA standard. It sounds like you're looking to cheapen your costs.
But at the end of the day, the decommissioning estimate is to make sure there's enough money, so that if we up and leave, or the site is abandoned, it can be decommissioned by the town. So if the costs end up less because of labor, then ultimately that would be at a benefit to the town.
That wouldn't be, how would that be a benefit to the town?
If the labor is.
Oh, that would only be a benefit to the town if the project, we had to end up decommissioning it because you abandoned it.
Correct. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the decommissioning, is if we were to ban, I mean, ultimately, we own the property, we want to keep the property, so
Do you own the property? Is my understanding that
We
you
will.
had
the intent is to purchase the property.
upon getting all of the approvals?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. I think that might be it, but I'm just looking to see, I mean, if you come in again, it seems like honestly, there may be some questions as to, you know, Victor's not here. I think I heard the same thing from him one time, a few times asking him a question that, I don't know, our financial people told me to do this. So are they available to come answer questions for the town board?
We could have somebody come. I mean, it's, the percentage, again, is an estimate, and
I think it would
Like we're-
make sense for someone from your company that can answer the financial questions to be present at the next meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
And it's, at the end of the day, we can't predict inflation, and that's why we have the adjustment written into any agreements that we have with the town, so.
You
I
have that
understand.
written into the agreement with the town because our town law mandates you do that.
Correct.
I just want to make that clear. It wasn't like you, that was not in the original plan.
The
That was.
2% or
No,
2.5%?
to come back every year to this board. That was not in
Right.
the original plan. So when you say it, it makes it sound like we put it in there to be great partners with the town, but you put it in there because we mandated it. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay,
I have no other questions.
all right.
I'm good. Everyone good? Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to grant privilege of the floor to Caitlin Bailey, Mike Stockman, to go over the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
I apologize about my apparel. I just got out of a pickleball lesson class, so we were teaching until just about 7 o'clock, so.
And I will be distributing, we put together just kind of a little graphic for you all of what we're looking to do for this event, and the back is a proposed budget for it as well.
Thank you.
Start.
Okay, so we've been tasked with putting together a significant event for July 2nd, the semi-quintessential, I think I got that, the 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence. That was pretty close. Which includes our concert night, which would be July 2nd, our traditional Thursday night concert event. It'll be the kickoff of the season next year, and what we'll look to do is add some elements, including fireworks, additional acts, additional food choices, additional options for kids, a kids area, and in the planning stage now is a possible smaller crafter fair area. So really utilizing the whole area of Victor Municipal Park on Thursday night, extending into, because it's a long weekend. The second is the Thursday. We assume that the third and fourth is a long weekend, so people can kind of come into Thursday for a bigger event, stay a little bit later for the fireworks that we estimate will start at about 9:45. So that's kind of where we're at in the planning stage. At this point, we've reached out to a couple bands already. We've already made food choices, not food choices, we've done some research on new food choices for a greater selection for the residents who show up for the event. And we did some research over the weekend at the Purple Painted Lady on a bunch of the crafters. She had about 200 crafters up there. So we made a nice, a thorough list of people who might be interested in coming and selling some stuff and being part of the event as well. So that's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah, I would say we had our July, what was the date this year? July 2nd. We had
It
a
was July 3rd.
July 3rd this year, a concert. It was just part of our regular Sid Partington Memorial Concert Series. And just in the conversations with the people there, everybody was like, oh, we wish we did something here at Victor. We suggested everybody go that night to the Farmington fireworks, but it would be nice, especially for this specific event, to do something right here in Victor. And just to be clear, this would be a event. This would not be an annual event.
We'll do it again in 500.
Yeah. Any questions?
I absolutely, hands down, love this idea. I've been talking about fireworks for 4th of July in the town for quite some time, but quite frankly, I never really brought it up because I didn't think anyone would go for it. My real question is, I don't think this is enough money. 6,000 for a fireworks display seems like kind of a lackluster fireworks display.
So we did meet with Young Explosives to do a walkthrough, and they suggested for this time of year, for the fireworks specifically, 5 to 10,000 is your July 4th celebration. So we went with 6,000, kind of close to the middle, but just to try to stay to the 10,000 range. But we could,
That's our first working iteration of the budget.
yes.
It should be fairly comparable to the music festival. That's about what they pay, I believe.
The Music Fest, fireworks, has anyone seen those? Because they're nice, but they're not 4th of July, 250th anniversary of the United States nice.
So the only.
I mean, they don't even compare with 4th of July.
The issue is
Fireworks display.
that Jim Young, who's the fireworks guru in the city and
Yeah.
is a wonderful guy, they're doing theirs in August.
Okay,
We're looking July 2nd.
yep,
So it's all about time of year too.
okay.
So, you know, we
Yeah.
intend on having a really nice show.
Get in the microphone.
Sorry, my voice is going too. I apologize too. I was
Pickleball.
yelling, pickleball, they don't listen. So we anticipate to try and do a great show, but
Okay.
Jim already mentioned it's July 2nd. So he does, I think, 100% of his fireworks in the area.
Yep.
So while we understand, and I used to do all the fireworks for Victor Fest and for Summer in the Square, we had a nice show every year, but that was September. And so while the budget he gave to us was 5 to 10, we didn't want to show up here tonight and start throwing around 10 grand.
For direct fireworks.
Just to start, we can negotiate. So to you understand where we're at on negotiate and put a full budget together.
Any questions for Mike or Caitlin?
No issues with the proximity to the sewage treatment plant for fireworks?
No, in fact, we had Jim out, walk the site, and he's the best in the business. He feels good. He'll be moving it closer to where is it a soil shredder over there? It'd be kind of this way. He'll let the village know that there may be some issues with it and have fire on hand, just in case, but he doesn't see any anticipation of any problems over there.
Yeah.
Communicate with the village on this yet? Okay.
Not yet. Not yet. We haven't got that far yet.
Initial conversations, but we haven't had anything set in stone because we wanted to present it to you all first.
Is this the best location, just given parking, et cetera?
We feel because we have power there, we kind of have a general groove.
Okay.
One of our just side conversations was talking about the parking lot's not lined right now, just little things like that. But it has that very nice feeling. There's the pond right there, the playground.
So I've run concerts in town for a few years, and we've had over 1,000 people and that was before the new parking lot came in. So I anticipate with the new parking lot, we can handle well over 1,000 attendees and parking and stuff. The best problem we'll have is if they start parking out the driveway again. That's a great problem.
Yeah.
So we've had them out to the street before. So I anticipate we'll have to bring in some toilets and some additional bathrooms and stuff just because. Just because.
Yes, because.
Some infrastructure. But anticipating a nice crowd of 1,000 plus, I think we got a good grip on it. I think that Victor has one of the nicest concert locations to run concerts in the area, you know. So I think it's a great location. I think it offers a lot.
And this is the total budget, not including hopefully some fairly decent sponsorships for an event like this?
Exactly, yes.
We didn't do a revenue side yet.
But yeah, we're anticipating this would be added to the sponsorship list that is that Karen hands out. So yes, there's a offset as well.
Up to and including, this is the new kickoff. So Caitlin did a really nice survey at the end of our season this year and asked what people wanted, and not even close, it was more concerts. So this now, we're going to push it back now. We're going to push it back into July, being this is the big lead-off now of our summer concert series. So we really want to pop it off big time this year and push it into August, because that's, everybody's asking us every night, can we do more of these? Can we do more? Because they love them. And so what we'll do is, traditionally, the first concert's always been our own band and chorus. What we've noticed over the past few years, they're better off inside. We're going to put them right in the school to start off. And it's just a better crowd for them, and seeing that there's many seniors are in that group, it's just easier. And this will be the official start with 6 or 7 more concerts to follow. So we really want to come out and align it with a really big holiday in American history, and really pop the whole, the whole season off with this one.
Very good. Any other questions for Caitlin or Mike?
I would just say I would be strongly in favor of the $10,000 for the fireworks display. I understand that the village does a fireworks display, but like Mike, you were saying, that's in August, where most of the time, if you are watching them, you're like, oh, this is a nice ending to the music fest. Or in my case, you know, I can walk, living in Jacob's Landing, I can kind of walk out on my deck and say, oh, that's nice. But for the 4th of July, for the 2nd of July, the 250th anniversary of the United States, to have a fireworks display that is not above and beyond a regular 4th of July fireworks display, but is at least on par with fireworks displays of 4th of July, I think $10,000 would be good.
It's also the 200th anniversary of Adams and Jefferson's death, too.
Okay.
We're not going to say that. We're not going to say that. But the other part is, we'd be leading off the area fireworks, too. We get to jump on Farmington at least next year.
I think also maybe Mr. Condon, in his former role, should give like a little speech about the history.
Can read the whole declaration.
Get that microphone closer so we can hear every word he says right now in preparation. Councilmember Olgra's comments about, you know, what she's really visualizing for the fireworks, I think if I make one recommendation, let's make sure we have 2 fire departments there.
And other than that, if you need any help, I love this stuff.
We'll put you to it. Thank you.
Happy to.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Okay, public comment. We'll start off with Susie. No one virtually. Anyone here in the audience care to address the town board with any comment or concerns they may have? Okay, next, moving to reports of town officials. In your packet, actually the town clerk.
Yes, board members, at your seating tonight, there was a copy of the tentative budget that I was presented with today, and that is your copy.
Thank you. And moving along, the highway report, Parks and Rec report, town historian report, IT, and planning and building report. Any questions on any of those reports? Couple of things real quick. Kathy Rayburn and myself had the opportunity to attend the Nixon Peabody Rochester office grand opening last Thursday, and everything is, those buildings are beautiful on top of the hill, and it certainly complements the other businesses up there as well. I also wanted to point out that e-bike safety in this community and many communities is problematic, and this is an issue that has been throughout this town, whether on the trails, the parks, town and village roads. Susie, to her credit, she found some information from the state of Florida, which she passed along to Brian Emelson, and Brian really liked the new information, and this new e-bike safety can now be found on the town's website on the homepage under Parks and Rec. So, board members, any reports any of you have to offer?
I attended the village board meeting last week. They also discussed e-bike safety, just generally knowing it's an issue, but it's TBD on what I guess we all do about it. They also denied a application from Terrapin Depot, which is adjacent to Finger Lakes Cannabis, to allow them to have up to 12 temporary, like 12 days of a beer and wine permit. So they denied that, and then not a big trash day, that's more a village thing, not much else from the village to report. I attended the Leadership Ontario, just kicked off about 2 weeks ago, or actually maybe last week, September 11th and 12th. That was down over at the 4-H camp in Bristol. Very interesting because I've never actually been to the 4-H camp down in Bristol. Been there for, it's their 100th year anniversary this year. The group is about 18 people. I would say it is mostly females, about 14 to 4. So that would be something maybe, I don't know, they work on in the future. And a lot of people from different governments, nonprofits, just a couple though from for-profit businesses. The next one is actually in Victor at Ganondagan. It is their DEI day. Then update from Parks and the selection of a vendor for the Dryer Road playground replacement. We have selected Game Time to do the design for that. We'll be meeting with them again on Monday to go over some more details. The design they submitted is not finalized. It did not have swings in it, something that we wanted to add, a couple other elements. But if anyone here had any ideas about things you would like to see in it, things you don't want to see in a playground, please let me know. I also have the catalog. We can look it up from Game Time to, they said it's very easy for us to mix and match, individual pieces, put them in there. And then one of the biggest things though that we have I don't want to say come to a standstill, but having trouble making a decision on that we have not done yet is the surfacing. And I would love to get everyone's opinion here, maybe not tonight, but at a future meeting, or if you call me, anything like that. Right now, obviously, we have the wood chips over at all of our playgrounds. It is something that our residents, myself, many people have just said, please no more wood chips, please no more. They are, one, from our point of view, we do have to replace them quite often. So that becomes a recurring cost, recurring bid, etc. They're not accessible. You can't fit a wheelchair over them, etc. You can't, I think for a lot of kids with sensory issues, they become a problem. But in general, we've heard from many parents, grandparents, etc. They are extremely annoying. They get in your kid's shoes, they get in, your shoes, the whole nine. People do not like the wood chips, period. So we've been looking at a few different options, including what's called poured in place, which is like that rubberized material you may have seen at other playgrounds. One of the concerns that we did have with that was just that we do have a lot of cleat usage over at Dryer Road Park because of the soccer fields over there. So it was something maybe we didn't want the cleats going into the poured in place. And that has had some issues. If anyone's familiar with the school, they had some issues there with their poured in place. That was more, I think, of a drainage issue, but it's something we're looking at. The other surfacing that we're looking at is more of a turf material. It's the one that Parrington just put into their new playground. The music one, if anyone's had a chance to check it out, or if you've ever been to the Strong Museum and you've been outside in that area, they have more of a turf-like surface. That's an option we're looking at. There were just some concerns about maintenance on it, having to rake it, blow it, discoloration, things of that nature. And kind of the latest one that came into the mix was a tiled surfacing, which isn't a traditional hard tile. But more of a poured in place tile. So if there were issues with it, you could take it out, put it back, put pieces in section by section. So that is one of the things that we have not made a decision on, but if anyone has been to any playgrounds, you have a preference, you don't have a preference, you notice something, please let us know, because it's something that we really are kind of leaving up in the air right now. And that is my very lengthy update. Apologies.
Thank you for the overview. Certainly your update on Leadership Ontario, but the playground service, I know I'm one of a few town board members up here who are grandfathers, and I know I've been to my share of playgrounds as well. Wood chips, yeah, they've seen better days, so, but I do like the forward thinking that anticipating the challenge being individuals playing soccer and then going on the playground. So and I never even give it a thought about that, so, yeah, let me get back to you as well.
When you go and take the grandkids out, let us know. Let us know what you like.
Okay. Any other board members' comments? Okay. We will move to action items, resolutions, starting with the first one is to amend the 2025 budget for, this is ARPA expenditures.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 2 is enter into a contract with Victor Farmington Ambulance.
Supervisor, am I recused on this one?
Okay, we have one recusal.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, this is a budget transfer for operating funds.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And number 4 is authorization for a grant application for the Victortown Courts.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is equipment agreement with the town of Farmington for a 2025 Milton Cat grader.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is the purchase of a 2025 Milton Cat, and this is shared with the town of Farmington.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is the purchase of a 2025 Freightliner 108 SD plow.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From Human Resources, Victortown Board hereby appoints the following resident to board and committees. And with us this evening is Mr. Ed Samol. Ed is Zoning Board of Appeals alternate, former business owner here in this community as well. So Ed, thanks for your interest first and foremost.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And as a former ZBA member, have fun.
No. Thank you.
Thank you. I liked it a lot. I really did. But as you can tell, I like government a little too much. Yes.
Under Parks and Recreation, agreement with Lewis St. Andrew Halloween Party.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then next is the Certificate of Liability Insurance
So
Waiver.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next item, as mentioned earlier, has been pulled. That's the 480 Strong Road. Next would be the declaring the 2006 standby generator as surplus.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is amending the fee schedule for Parks and Recreation. I know Councilman Condon has been a big advocate of this, increasing it from its current rate of $2,000, increasing it by $1,000 up to $3,000 for all new residential construction.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is the acknowledgement of the expiration of the Willow Rise letter of credit and acceptance of funds. Yes, my apologies.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is Four Winds, release number 1.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Lightcom, release number 1.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is an annual, something we do annually, authorizing to enter into snowplow liability agreements with developers for undedicated roads.
You think if we charged more, Mark, that Jeff Smith might work harder to get the roads dedicated faster?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering. I don't know if that's light. I don't know if that's standard. I don't know How do you come up with 77 cents a foot, or whatever you charge?
We started out at a base fee and it just increases yearly. I forget what the fees are. That's how we based it, so.
Are they incentivized to get the road dedicated?
It varies on developments, is how fast they fill up and.
Seems Mr. Smith isn't incentivized very much so.
Well, I mean, Arbordale, he's working on,
Well, and he's got a lot of projects going on too. I
He
get
does,
that.
yes,
I get
so.
that. So moved.
Do we look at increasing it in the
Well,
future, maybe?
I don't know. I just, I'm just putting it out there.
How do we get to that number, I guess?
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
threw it at Mark. Just keep an eye on it, see what's.
So,
we could do that.
alright.
We have a first and second.
Oh,
We have a first, we have a second.
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor?
aye.
And the final resolution is the Bluestone Trails, release number 1.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment period, an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. And there's no one there. Just one final thing I would say, in your mailbox, you should have received the Woods at Valentine. Certainly take it home, review it. There'll be action in the future, or leave it in your mailbox, so you'll have it when we do have that. Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.